Welcome to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Jill Bauer, PR Manager for Shores and Islands, Ohio. We bring you The Shoreline every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities. Well, we're so happy you're with us today. We've got another super interesting episode. It's full on island season, and we're already halfway through July. But don't let summer slip away. Be sure to be planning your Shores and Islands, Ohio getaway. We've got a great week to consider coming. We're going to learn all about Island Green Week today, but a couple of quick reminders before we get there. If you are planning your trip to our amazing region, don't forget that shoresandislands.com is your resource for lodging options, things to do, itinerary suggestions, dining options, and of course, a local special events calendar. And July episodes of The Shoreline are brought to you by Declaration 250. This July 31st through August 2nd, join thousands at Put-in-Bay for Declaration 250, celebrating August 2nd, 1776, the day America actually signed its name to freedom. Get details at declaration-250.com. Well, joining us now is Renee Fultz, Director of the Lake Erie Islands Nature and Wildlife Center and the coordinator of Island Green Week. She is in her 8th season as Director of the Nature and Wildlife Center and originally from the Toledo area, but grew up visiting a family cottage on Middle Bass Island, so she's a longtime Islander. Renee has a master's degree in conservation and biology from Miami University. For more information on the Nature and Wildlife Center, you can go back to season 1, episode 29, where we last interviewed Renee. But today we're talking all about Island Green Week. Island Green Week events highlight the island's plural natural beauty and unique ecology. The Lake Erie Islands are a breathtaking destination with opportunities to see utterly amazing parts of nature, history, and culture. It takes place across 4 Lake Erie Islands with events happening daily from August 1 through 8th. Welcome back to The Shoreline, Renee.
Thank you so much, Jill. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, we're really glad to have you. But for those that are hearing about it for the first time, can you give us a little bit of a background on Island Green Week and what inspired the creation of this week-long celebration?
Yeah, absolutely. We are actually celebrating our 10th year of Island Green Week. It started in 2016. And it was really just to try to celebrate all the natural beauty of the island and islands, like you said, plural, and to get people to explore the islands and all of the nature preserves. And
honestly, like it's all about looking at the Lake Erie Islands through a different view, I think, of what most people think of when they think of the Lake Erie Islands. What kind of things can visitors expect to be happening throughout the week? Or can you highlight some of the signature events that are happening throughout Island Green Week?
Yeah, absolutely. The goal is to have events every single day. Some events are, for example, the Nature and Wildlife Center is open every day, and we are doing an eco ramble and scavenger hunt of the different preserves on the island. Ooh. So people can pay $15, which includes family admission, which is $12 in itself. And then you get this scavenger hunt and you go on a little adventure around to the different preserves, and you have to go through the trails and find where the spot is. And then if you do all of those and bring back the prize that you find in that spot, then you will get a prize from us. We have these really nice reusable bags as a prize, plus some stickers and things like that.
Can the Eco Ramble be done every day of the event?
Yes. So that is available every day. You don't have to do it all in one day either, which is nice.
Cool.
If you're on the island for multiple days, you can spread it out and do it throughout the week and then come whenever you finish it to get the prize.
So that's kind of like an island-wide scavenger hunt.
Correct. Yes.
Very cool.
The nature side of a scavenger hunt. We want people to see our beautiful trails on the island. We have so many that a lot of people have not explored. So this is a really great way to go out and explore the trails and do something fun and win a prize in the process.
Well, wonderful. What are some of the other daily events that are happening?
So there's Science Saturday, which is on Saturday over on Kelly's Island. There's, of course, the America 250 or the Declaration 250 on Sunday. So that is its own event, but we didn't schedule anything specifically for Green Week because there's so much already going on.
There's enough going on that weekend. Yeah. In fact, last week's episode was all about Declaration 250. So our regular listeners hopefully are already aware that's a great way to kick off Island Green Week.
It really is. Yes. And so on Monday, then we've got our kayaking, we've got archery, and we've got our Hotel Victory tour. And all of those are free events. So is our Wild Tuesday event at the Nature Center. And that's Tuesday from 1 to 3, which actually goes all summer long. Every Tuesday from 1 to 3, we have other organizations come up with animals or activities and things like that on our back porch. And that's free to the public.
Cool.
We've got our Big Pig Roast, which is our 14th annual this year. And that's a big fundraiser for the Nature Center. That's at the Goat. But also that's on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And also on Wednesday on Kelly's Island, they're doing a Glacial Groove tour.
Ooh, if you haven't been there, definitely recommend you head up the Grit.
Absolutely.
Grooves.
Yes, the Glacial Grooves are so cool. And Chris Ashley from the state park is going to be leading that. And he knows everything there is to know about it. So it's a great tour. Sure. And then Thursday, we've got, of course, Lake Erie Awareness Day, which is a huge island-wide event on Put-in-Bay. It's so much fun. There's so much to learn. And that's also when the Gibraltar Island tours happen through Ohio State Stone Lab. Mm-hmm. And then Friday, we're doing fishing at the Aquatic Visitor Center. And then there's also an event with Stone Lab down at the Lighthouse for Science Fridays and Saturdays. And then Saturday on Middle Bass is their kayak poker tour. Plus, they're adding a 5K this year, which is very exciting.
Ooh. Middle Bass Island also has the Lons Winery and the museum over there that you can tour when you visit the Lons home there.
Yes, and we have a tour of the Lons Winery with the tour of the cellar and of the newly renovated mansion house, and that's on Friday evening.
Wow. I mean, it really sounds like you have a chock full week of activities.
Yeah.
How would you say, Renee, that all of these different programs, how do they come together to tell the story of the Lake Erie Islands?
Well, part of the goal is to increase the ecotourism up here. We have a lot of people that are looking for more family-oriented activities to do, that want to explore the natural side of the islands. So all of these activities are to come together to really highlight the natural beauty of the islands and all of that natural activities that these islands have to offer. So the whole goal is to just get people enjoying themselves outside, getting them connected to nature, getting them excited about nature, and just providing a lot of really fun, family-oriented activities for this week that, and most, like I said, most of these are free activities. So we just want people to get outside and explore.
And the other great thing about Island Green Week lasting the whole week long is you could come up and stay for the whole week and have something different to do every day. But you can also just come over for 1 day or 2 days or whatever it is. There are different activities throughout the week that maybe you want to be there on the weekend for the Declaration 250 and you'll stay over and do some things on Monday. But maybe you'll come back on Saturday to experience the Middle Bass Island activities or go over to Kelly's to enjoy the activities that are happening there. That's one great thing I think about Island Green Week is that there are activities going on the entire week and a little bit of something for everybody. How do you hope that visitors will maybe change their perspective after they explore during Island Green Week?
Like I said, I think it's really important to show people that there's more to the island than just the bar scene. You know, that is a fun side of the island. There's no denying that, but there's just so much more to these islands. The beauty of the lake and the islands themselves, the uniqueness of our ecology up here, the wildlife and the natural features that we have, I think is a really important thing for people to understand about the islands. Like the geology of the islands is so different than just even over on mainland. Yeah. And just learning about how animals get here and why we have the species that we have here, I think is just a really interesting story that when people learn about it, they get really excited and it really sparks that interest in nature about the islands, but then also about where they're from as well. So we just really want to help people connect to nature more and get really excited about it. And not just on the islands, but when they go back home and get excited about the nature that they're surrounded with wherever they go.
Well, and speaking of the wildlife and the native wildlife and the how did they get here, just last week I was over at Put-in-Bay and we had some deer cross our path, and somebody that was with me thought, well, how did deer get on an island? I assume there's probably a population now, but I mean, they actually can walk across when the lake is frozen. Is that correct?
Yes, they can walk across the ice, but they can also swim. Deer are very good swimmers, up to 3 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, people have actually seen deer swimming, being on the Miller boat or on fishing boats and taken videos of the deer swimming across. So we'll get deer that swim across from mainland that get over to South Bass Island. And then from here, they'll swim to Middle Bass Island and some of the other islands. But we have probably at least 50 deer on South Bass Island right now. We have quite a few, and probably more because they just all had babies.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's probably surprising to people, and we hope that if a deer makes its way over there, that it finds someone to love.
Yeah, we've got a good population over here now.
Good. So if somebody is planning a trip to Put-in-Bay or any of the islands for Island Green Week, do they need to register for any of these activities? I know some of the things you mentioned do have an additional fee. How do they get prepared to participate?
Yeah, the only things to register for would be the kayaking, because there's only so many spots for that. We do have 3 different start times, so they can register for a 9 a.m., 11 a.m., or a 1:30 p.m. slot. So we do prefer for people to register ahead of time for that, so we know where we're at with our numbers. And I mean, you could show up, but it might be full. Okay. And then our pig roast has tickets. It's $25 if you pre-purchase a ticket for the pig roast, or it's $30 the day of.
And then what about the Gibraltar Island? Is that another one that there's a fee for?
Yes, there's also a fee for that. And the transportation is paid separately. You have to use the Boardwalk water taxi. That's where you pay for the water taxi and get over to do the tour over there.
And that's happening on Thursday, correct?
Correct.
Great.
And also the Middle Bass Island 5K and the Kayak Poker Day, those require registration and have a fee to them as well.
And there are plenty of other places to visit while you're on the islands, to eat, to dine, to grab a drink. There's so many things that you can experience while you're visiting Put-in-Bay. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Thursday's Lake Erie Awareness Day in our next interview. But for Island Green Week as a whole, where can our listeners go to find this full schedule and make their plans?
You can actually go to islandgreenweek.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Renee.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill. It's been a great time talking to you about this.
Joining us now to talk all about Lake Erie Awareness Day, which is taking place on Thursday, August 6th at Put-in-Bay, are 2 special guests, Jill Bartolotta and Emily Rugg. Jill Bartolotta is the education specialist for Ohio Sea Grant and the Ohio State University Stone Laboratory. She leads, develops, coordinates, promotes, and evaluates education and outreach initiatives. Jill develops lesson plans, curriculum, outreach programs, field trips, and workshop experiences for educators, students, and all learners. Her program focuses on Lake Erie issues of concern, coastal stewardship, environmental literacy, and workforce development. Emily Rugg is a wildlife communication specialist with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife. Emily has been with the Department of Natural Resources for 4 years, working with the H2 Ohio Students Take Action program for most of that time. Her work with H2 Ohio has helped to reach thousands of students, educating them on the importance of wetlands and water quality. Emily got her Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science with a minor in philosophy from the University of Toledo in 2020 and is currently working on her Master's in Biology at Bowling Green State University. And you may also remember Emily from a previous episode where we talked all about that H2 Ohio Students Take Action program. I believe that was last September, if you want to go back and take a listen to learn a little bit more about that program. Today, they're here to talk about Lake Erie Awareness Day, which brings the magic of Lake Erie Erie's history, culture, and natural resources to Put-in-Bay. Participants are going to spend the day touring South Bass Island while learning all about Ohio's greatest water resource and visiting educational stations to learn about island history, native plants and animals, the dangers of plastic pollution, and boating safety. Welcome to the program, Jill and Emily.
Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for having us.
And this, I think, is the first time I've interviewed another Jill. So awesome name.
I know. Are you a Jill or a Jillian?
Straight Jill.
So am I.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Jill, let's talk about the history of the Lake Erie Awareness Day event. How did it first get its start and how long has it been going on?
So Lake Erie Awareness Day was first hosted in 2021, and it was actually called something else when my colleague Sue Bixler and I, along with many of the island education partners, decided to host this event. It was actually focused primarily on plastic pollution. Ohio Sea Grant and Stone Laboratory, we had received funding from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Marine Debris Program to do a plastics reduction social marketing campaign on South Bass Island. And this event was part of that grant. So the day was actually focused on plastics. But then after that day, we got some feedback from participants, and people, they wanted to learn more. They didn't want to learn just about plastics. They wanted to learn more about Lake Erie. And so the following year in 2022 is when we renamed the event to Lake Erie Awareness Day. And that's as the event started to grow, more partners began to become involved. And it's now morphed into this very large island celebration that Emily has now started facilitating and has grown the event into this wonderful annual event that people just love.
Now it's more of a celebration of Lake Erie. The event has really evolved in such a short time. It's only been going on for 5 years. But Emily, can you tell us a little bit about that evolution and if there are any new activities that are going to be taking place as part of the event this year?
Absolutely. So like Jill said, it started with a focus on plastic impacts, but this event has grown to expose more of a holistic picture of Lake Erie and its ecosystem. We really want the day to shed light on how different factors and organizations are impacting the lake ecosystem, as well as how the lake ecosystem impacts us. So in addition to talking about plastics, we'll also be talking about invasive species, nutrient runoff, wetland restoration, safe and clean boating, Ohio rivers and how they impact the lake, research surrounding different animals found in and around the lake, just to name a few topics. We have recruited new partners who will offer great activities to highlight different aspects on the lake and its ecosystem. For example, this year, weather permitting, we will be offering free kayak try-its at the state park. Kayaking is not only a great way to get participants out on the water, but it's also going to offer an up-close lesson on water quality and water safety, both of which are highlighted at that station. Also new this year, again, weather permitting, will be some good old-fashioned snake wrangling and data collection education.
Snake wrangling.
Yeah, interested folks can help collect data for a multi-year long mark recapture survey of the Lake Erie water snake, which are only found on the Lake Erie Islands. Additionally, we're also going to have the Division of Wildlife at the newly renovated Aquatic Visitor Center to offer free youth fishing, free fish samples, as well as education about fish monitoring programs. As the walleye capital of the world, it's important that we showcase the resources that our lake offers us and how we are protecting them.
So can one of you speak to the different stations? Now, these are things that are happening all over the island. So you would recommend maybe getting a golf cart?
Something newer in the last, I want to say this is the second year that we're doing this. We've partnered with Island Transportation, which run the tour trains around the island. So participants that want to see the island but not necessarily get a golf cart can purchase their tour train ticket at the train depot downtown, and they will be dropped off at the different Lake Erie Awareness event stations that are along that route. But yes, if they don't want to do that, a golf cart or a bike would be the way to go.
And are the stations running all day long, or are there only certain times for certain things?
The program is the whole day. Lake Erie Awareness Day is going to be 11 to 3. So it's in that time frame that these activity stations will be active.
Do you recommend going in a certain order? Like the tour train, I assume, is only going to go in one direction. But if you were on a golf cart and visiting on your own, can you kind of mix it up and go to different places at different times?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no set order. We do have 6 stations, so we'll be at the South Bass Island Lighthouse. We have the South Bass Island State Park. We have Duff Bayfront Homestead and Preserve. We have the Lake Erie Islands Nature and Wildlife Center, Perry's Victory and an International Memorial.
So, Jill, you mentioned earlier about evolving the event because of the feedback that you've gotten. Is this the kind of event that people come to every year? What kind of feedback are you hearing in the most recent years?
This event sees hundreds of people come to the island each year.
Wow.
And we do collect feedback from those who go to all the stations. But then my favorite part about the event is I get to go around to the different stations and I just chat with people. And people have said that they have been coming to the island just for this event since it started 5 years ago. They all have the goal of winning the prize. You know, whoever visits all the stations, they get entered into a raffle for some great prizes. And so a lot of people want to win that prize, but also it's just families saying that they kind of plan a little mini vacation around this event every year because it's just so much fun and the kids and the family really enjoy it. But then we also chat with people who have no idea this is going on. They stumble on it and then they spend the rest of the day going to all the stations and just having the time of their life. So yes, people are always happy to provide feedback on how we can improve it, and we take that into account and we work on it every year. But for the most part, everybody loves this event and they say, please keep doing this. And all of our education partners love the event, and the island residents. We have island residents who come to this event every year as well. So it's not just people visiting.
You mentioned families doing this. Are there activities for all ages?
Yes. So what we ask all of our station partners is to have youth-friendly activities, so hands-on interactive activities. So as Emily mentioned, there will be kayaking, fishing. Those are, all age, all ability activities. Some of the other activities we'll be having is we have a prize wheel that we have at one of our stations that'll be at the lighthouse. We have a huge map that shows the entire Great Lakes watershed that we have fun, kid-friendly activities around. Several of the other stations will have crafts, and also the Wildlife Center. They just have a wonderful exhibit that talks about the native wildlife to the island, and same with the Aquatic Visitor Center. Again, just lovely interactive exhibits around island wildlife.
So it sounds like this is, really become quite a large event. Can you talk a little bit about the funding that you receive for Lake Erie Awareness Day? Who is helping you guys pull this off?
All of our station partners, this is an event that they come to because they find it worthwhile for them. So all of their travel to the island and any activities they may do, they fund those events. But then the other funding that happens on the back end, advertising and publication, some of that comes from the Center for Great Lakes Literacy, which is funded through the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. And this is grant money that Ohio Sea Grant receives to do education events with a youth focus. And so some of that money can support the publications. And then additionally, with Emily's involvement in the event, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Division of Wildlife, they also support the funding for advertising and publication materials.
And Emily, are there any other new partners that, maybe you want to add in, have added support this year that you guys want to thank?
I do, but I do want to circle back to the last question because I do want to add in that it is also Shores and Islands has been helping us quite a bit with advertisements. You guys funded a billboard for us this year on State Route 2, and last year you guys funded some great new signage for us. So we do have you guys to thank as well for making this event more visible.
Happy to help.
Really appreciate it. As for new partners, I think, as Jill mentioned, I think every year we're adding new partners to the event to come and help educate people during this event. We recently welcomed the Park District of Ottawa County, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Natural Areas and Preserves, the Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife, Department of Natural Resources Natural Resource Officers, the University of Toledo's participated, the Lake Erie Commission, Ohio EPA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Black Swamp Bird Observatory, Ohio Environmental Council, the Toledo Zoo, the Put-in-Bay Chamber of Commerce, Island Transportation, and of course, Shores and Islands is also a newer partner. But that's in addition to the long list of partners that have been participating in this event since it started in 2021. So just thank you to everyone who's helped make this event what it is.
Absolutely. It takes a village, right? I mean, it really sounds like a lot of groups coming together. A lot of groups coming together to support, this important initiative. And Jill, I also heard that Stone Lab is taking part in the day as well. What kind of tours are going to be available over there, and how do people participate in that?
Yes. So Lake Erie Awareness Day falls on a Thursday, and it has since it started in 2021. The reason being it falls during Island Green Week, and Thursday was the one day during Island Green Week where there was still room for activity. And so that's why we chose Thursday. But also historically, Thursday has been the day where Gibraltar Island opens for tours to the public. So there will be tours that day. They will be led by Sue Bixler. She has a wonderful wealth of knowledge about Lake Erie history, ecology, and culture. So tours are from 10 to 12 or 1 to 3. They do have a fee associated with them. So for adults, it's $15. For a child, it's $7. And then you will take the water taxi, which meets at the docks at the Boardwalk restaurant. And that's how you'll get over to Gibraltar. So if people are interested in having a tour, you can go to ohioseagrant.osu.edu/visit/Gibraltar to get over to Gibraltar Island for the morning or afternoon.
And highly recommend that as well. That's a cool addition to the day. But as far as, what you guys have been telling me about the different stations and everything, are the Stone Lab tours the only thing that incur any kind of cost?
Yes. Lake Erie Awareness Day is a free event, and that is in thanks to the grant funding we have received, but then also the partners who provide sponsorship for advertising and publication.
Great. Well, is there anything else that either one of you wanted to add about the event, or anything our listeners should know?
Yeah, we are going to be having information stations set up at the Miller Ferry, Jet Express, and the Put-in-Bay Chamber of Commerce on the island.
Very smart.
Yeah, these stations are going to be where participants can get their Lake Erie Awareness Day postcard, and that's what they're going to get their stamps on to be entered into the raffle to fill out the survey. So after visiting and collecting stamps from all the stations, participants will fill out that survey. We'll enter them into a drawing for some cool prizes, including camping vouchers for Southwest Island State Park and Nature Camp 2027 registration with the Lake Erie Islands Nature and Wildlife Center.
Those are some amazing prizes. I love that. Where do participants turn in their postcards once they've visited all the stations?
They can keep them. They just need to show their completed postcard to one of the workers at one of the stations, and they'll get a QR code to fill out a survey. If the internet's not working, which happens a lot, there will be paper surveys available for them.
All right. And where can our listeners go to get more information about Lake Erie Awareness Day, the different educational sessions, and how they can participate?
So there is a very long website link. The easiest thing to do is if you Google Lake Erie Awareness Day 2026, it will take you to Ohio Sea Grant's webpage where the event page is hosted for Lake Erie Awareness Day, and it will have all the information there.
Perfect. And we'll make it even easier for our listeners. Just go to the events calendar at shoresandislands.com and you can look up the Lake Erie Awareness Day event there. We'll link you right to that long URL. I get you. I've heard that a lot from different ODNR sites and Ohio State University sites and all of that. So we really appreciate you joining us today, and I hope people are making their plans to join you on August 6th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep, thank you guys. Special thanks to Renee Fultz, Jill Bartolotta, and Emily Rugg from Island Green Week, August 1st through the 8th, and Lake Erie Awareness Day on August 6th for joining us today. And a reminder that all of July's episodes of The Shoreline are brought to you by Declaration 250, declaration-250.com. As always, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can also find more information, including past episodes of the podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And we will see you next time on The Shoreline.